Hello everyone and welcome back to Fast Times Garage. So look at this, we got the car finally outside for the first time in 7 months. It's on its body cart from the last episode. If you haven't already seen it, make sure to check out my channel and check out the last video of me putting that on. It was quite the task to do when I was by myself, but I got my two boys here with me. I got Kyler and I got Nash. They're going to be helping me out today, getting this thing nice and clean, and then we're going to put it back up in the garage, and then it's going to wait its turn to go up to Oregon. Car. You guys can do this. You ready? Recording?
Yep.
So do that. Okay, see all the dirt and stuff coming off from the bottom right there? Two hands. One here on the trigger, one here. Are you left-handed or right-handed? You gonna do it that way?
Yep.
Okay. There you go. Get the ball in the corner, up, down. Why are you wearing a jacket? Not gonna hurt you. Get close enough sometimes it'll flash back. Knock around the side of the table.
Bud, you can walk around.
Come on, bud. Let's get the front of the car.
Get the outside.
The outside first, okay? Then start from the top, loosen up, okay? And go from there, again, this way. Down this way. Okay? Down, and underneath, like this, down. Go up into the wheel well, like that. Okay? Go back. Okay? Like that, okay? Come up. Now you do the roof. Right there. Okay, come back. Put yourself off there. Stop. Now get the door. Go down. Don't spray me. Okay. Daddy's gonna do the inside part, okay? And I don't want you to spray stuff that's gonna splash back at you, alright? So let Daddy do his part, okay? Okay, Tyler. Come on. Come here. Okay. Trigger and point. Shoot. Okay? And you're gonna wanna go with it. Get closer. Okay.
Bye, babe.
Okay. Come over here. See at the bottom right here? Come right here. Come right here. There you go. Okay. Alright, come on the back. Do the quarter panel. We're gonna do it like NASCAR. Okay. Up. That. That. Keep going. Top of the quarter panel. Down, heel. Okay. Heel well. Okay. Go ahead. Coming out right there. Thing about having a Mustang that's old and it's got a bunch of rust, there's no floorless, so I got auto drain features on it. Nice. Right there, see auto drain. God, as I'm walking, I do a terrible job. Here we are, another night. We're gonna go over how much metal this car is gonna need now that the car is pretty much pressure washed off and nothing's gonna fly out of it while it goes down the freeway on an open trailer for 8 hours up north of me. So let's get down to the brass tacks of how much metal this car is actually gonna need. I mean, the list it's huge. The car is not only rusty, but it's also got a lot of frame damage from its impact, from its accident. I still don't know exactly whatever happened and how it happened, at least. I'd rather not know how hard it was actually hit. I'd rather that be in the back of my mind of guessing what happened. Anyways, this thing needs a ton of metal, and luckily enough, they make everything for it, practically out of the catalog, including a whole body. I'm not gonna do a whole body though, because I'm highly against bin swapping and all that kind of stuff, and I wanna keep the original car as original as possible without putting too much repop metal on it. So with that being said, we're gonna start off with this list here. And the numbers are just going off in my head how much I'm gonna be into it. But the good news is that I'm only into this car so much on the initial purchase that I'm not gonna be buried in cost on this car. I'm gonna put myself right around the realm of $20,000 to $25,000 probably, maybe 30 for basically the framework, the metal, any body work, and then paint. I'll probably be around 30 grand deep into this car. I'm just gonna throw that number out there. I think that's a pretty fair number to put out, but still, with the value of these cars continuously going up, even though it's not a Mach 1 or a Boss 302, but if you do a car right, it does bring pretty good money. Not that I'm looking at selling the car, but I'm also not gonna lose my ass on it either, hopefully. So with how this car is gonna turn out for me is how I want it for the rest of my life, not for somebody else. So that's why I wanna do extra care and how we can get the car as square as we can and make it better than factory, since the car is in the state of condition it's already in. Here's the list that I have written up here. Now this is just a generalization how much metal it's actually gonna need. So my total dollar amount right now is $8,200. Now it's probably gonna be a lot more than that, but unfortunately we won't know anything until after the acid bath is done. So that way it will actually reveal more damage, plus actually when they cut the car away, because I'm actually probably not gonna end up doing the work because it does need to go on a frame rack. It really does. The car is pretty bent, and I don't really have the ability or the skills to get this car square again. And with today's technology and skill out there for in terms of restoration process, there's a lot of people out there that can take this car and make it better than factory in terms of how straight it can be. So I got a lot of things going in my favor in terms of the process on how these cars are done, plus the availability and how much metal there is. I mean, you can build this car out of a catalog. I mean, you could already do that a few years ago with a Mustang anyways. I mean, there's always been metal for these things, but the quality of the metal, I'm hoping that I pick a company that provides metal that's better than what I've heard or what I've read out there in terms of fitment. So I'm probably end up going to go with Dynacorn with a lot of the metal off this car, because that's what most of the people are recommending on all the forum sites in terms of fitment and quality. And they have the original Ford tooling licensing to do all the stamps, so their fitment is a little bit better in terms of other companies out there that provide the metal for the cars, because there's so many different options in terms of price, from low to high dollar. I want to stick with something with more quality, so yeah, I'm going to spend a little more, but it's going to be worth it in the end to make sure that this car is going to perform in terms of chassis rigidity for the purpose that I want it for, which is I want to make it a cornering machine, but also want to make it a touring machine where it's going to be nice and tight, and that way there's no squeaks, rattles, or anything like that. Or also fitment issues in terms of interior panels and everything else when I got to put the interior back together. Now, these cars rot out pretty bad in terms of floors. We all know Mustangs do. This thing has an auto drain feature in the floor, which is pretty cool. You can put water in there and it just drains right out. It's going to need a floor pan, but what's really awesome about this is this. The floor pan is one giant piece from the firewall all the way to the back of the car with rails. That is a pretty cool feature. Now, that pan's pretty expensive, but I don't know if it's going to work in my application, so that's okay. Then I got the trunk pan. Obviously, if that's the case, I can get that one complete floor pan. We have wheel houses. Now I'm probably going to do a mini tub kit from Detroit Speed. Driver inner roof structure is bent on this car. It is, and that's from the impact damage on the driver's side. It's actually pushed up a couple inches. Maybe it's repairable, but we won't know until it goes on the frame machine. And then if somebody can decide whether or not they can actually repair it or we need to replace it. The tail panel is pretty much gone in this car. The rear rails, if that's the case, if we can't do the other part of the car, which is the full pan, which includes rails, needs full quarters, needs the firewall. It's absolutely ruined by the water, just rotting it out. Shock towers are cracked and ruined, which we're gonna delete those. We're gonna put coilovers in the front, so we'll do a delete kit. Fender aprons are also pretty much ruined and rust. Front rails underneath where your feet are in the driver and passenger seat area, those are full of rust right there. Hopefully those are savable, we'll see. Torque boxes are rotted out, which is pretty typical on a Mustang, to be quite honest. There's no hood on this car. Now, I really do want this one particular hood. It's made by the Ring brothers, and they put it on the car named Uncle. That hood is absolutely amazing, but if I buy it, my wife will probably murder me in my sleep. So I might take the risk. You never know. Now, fenders, I got those. Trunk lid, I might be able to reuse what I have, but the trunk lid is bent. It's actually tweaked structurally, so I don't know if it's gonna be able to be used. If not, I'll have to find one off of a donor car, and then obviously I need the quarter extensions where the trunk is, so that I can replace those in terms of, because mine's cracked. It's just pot metal. They just shatter basically on impact, which mine did. All that added up to around $8,200, but that's without the Uncle hood. That's without that one hood from the Ring brothers. Now this price is probably gonna go up from here, but we won't know until after this car comes back from its acid bath up north of me and revealing more damage, plus obviously cutting the car apart and then finding more damage on top of that. So this price will probably go up. Now I gave a generalized price around 20 to 30,000. I think it's gonna cost me a little more than that, to be quite honest, but I'm not that bad into the car in terms of, I'm not upside down in this car. I'm not, I'll put that straight up right now. I'm not upside down. I'm actually up in this car because I bought and sold parts cars, and I took parts for this car off of the parts cars, but then I sold the cars at profit. So those profit basically made me break even and recoup my money for this car. So it worked out for me. So we're gonna be able to be not too far off on the car in terms of cost and budget. And all in all, I'll probably be in this car around $80,000, to be quite real. All said and done, paint, bodywork, suspension, engine, transmission, I'll probably be 80 grand deep in this car. So, and that's a realistic number. Most people that get into these cars think, oh yeah, it only needs this, this, and this, and this. And then they start getting into the project, and that's when projects die and slow down, because the process of going through one of these projects is not realizing the cost and expense that goes with it. I already know that I'm not gonna probably make my money back. Yeah, I'll probably break even, maybe. If I spend 80 grand and make a really nice resto mod with it, I'd probably break even if I send it to an auction, but private party sale, I would definitely not break even. I already know that. So it's not about making money though. This is about making the car of my dreams and the car of my wife's dreams too, because this is gonna be her car to drive around while I have my Dodge, obviously. So this car is gonna be spec'd out between her and me, so that way we can both enjoy it and go on long tours and drives with this car. I hope everyone has enjoyed this episode of Fast Times Garage. I know my kids did. They really did enjoy helping me out getting this car washed for the first time in 30 years, as well as using a pressure washer. They had a blast using it, but we're also getting eaten alive by mosquitoes at the same time. So they were real troopers and helped me out getting the car done. But this leads us to the next phase of the project here. Now that the car is completely stripped, I pressure washed it, cleaned it out, make sure there's no loose ends inside the car that would fall out while I'm trailering it. The car can go up to Oregon now, and it can get an acid dipping bath, completely submerged in a giant tank of acid. How cool is that? So it's gonna strip paint, neutralize rust, take the seam sealer off, and leave a nice bare shell to reveal all the extra hidden work that's probably hidden underneath all the other nooks and crannies in this car. So please stay tuned for the next episode on Fast Times Garage. If you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure to hit it before the video ends, and check out my other videos. If you already are a subscriber and been following me along this path of this journey with the 69 Mustang of mine, thank you for all the support. So stay tuned for more episodes of Fast Times Garage.